These are the numbers nobody's talking about. 26.7 points, 9.7 assists, and the Detroit Pistons sitting in first place in the Eastern Conference. This is Cade Cunningham's breakout season, and it's turning the entire NBA upside down. Right now, Cade ranks third in MVP voting behind only Shai, Gilgeous-Alexander, and Luka Dončić. He's the first Piston ever to get a Nike signature shoe. And here's the kicker. He might actually be the most underrated superstar in the league. 2 years ago, the Pistons set the worst record in NBA history with a 28-game losing streak. Think about that. 28 straight losses. Rock bottom doesn't even begin to describe it. Fast forward to today, and they're 27-9, leading the East. That's not a typo. The Detroit Pistons are in first place. Last season gave us hints of what was coming. Cade made his first All-Star team and third-team All-NBA. But this year he's gone nuclear. We're talking 26.7 points per game, 9.7 assists, second only to Nikola Jokic, and 6.2 rebounds. Those aren't good numbers. Those are superstar numbers. Let me paint you a picture of what happened against Washington. Cade drops 46 points, grabs 10 rebounds, dishes 10 assists, and steals the ball 5 times. You know how many players in NBA history have put up 45 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 5 steals in a single game? 1. Cade Cunningham. That's it. Nobody else has ever done that. But here's where it gets interesting. Former NBA champion Jeff Teague came out and said something that made everyone stop and think. He said Cade deserves MVP more than anyone else because, and I quote, "he has no help." Think about it. Shai's got Jalen Williams. Jokic has Jamal Murray when he's healthy. Luka's playing with LeBron James. Who's Cade got? Look at that Pistons roster. Go ahead, name the second best player. I'll wait. You can't. Because there isn't a clear number 2. It's Cade and a bunch of role players who've bought into the system. And somehow, someway, they're leading the Eastern Conference with the second best defensive rating in the entire NBA at 110.2. You want to know what separates the great from the truly special? Listen to what Cade said when asked about the MVP race. "I'd rather win Finals MVP than regular MVP." That's not deflection. That's not false modesty. That's a 24-year-old kid telling you exactly where his priorities are. Team first. Championships over individual awards. Remember last year when he got snubbed for Most Improved Player? Most guys would have complained, gone on social media, made it a whole thing. Not Cade. His reaction told you everything. He doesn't see himself as a Most Improved Player candidate because, in his mind, he's always been this good. The league just hadn't caught up yet. The numbers tell a story that's almost hard to believe. Second in the NBA with 9.7 assists per game, trailing only Jokic. But here's the one that'll blow your mind. In the fourth quarter, when games are won and lost, Cade's averaging 11.2 points. That's first in the entire league. When it matters most, nobody's better. When Cade's on the floor, the Pistons' offensive rating jumps from 112.1 to 121.3. That's a 9.2-point swing just from one player being out there. He's created 727 assist points, again, second only to Jokic, and when you add his own 853 points, that's 1,580 total points generated. One man, 1,580 points. The Pistons are outscoring opponents by 254 points when he's on the court. 254. In a league where games are decided by single possessions, that number is staggering. But let's talk about what they don't show on SportsCenter. The dark side of Cade's journey. His first 3 seasons were plagued by injuries that kept derailing his momentum. The 2022-23 season was supposed to be his breakout year. 12 games in, shin injury, season-ending surgery in November, an entire year of development gone. Even this season, he's dealing with a wrist contusion that caused his first missed game since November. The durability questions are real. When you're the #1 overall pick, when an entire franchise pins its hopes on you, every missed game feels like a missed opportunity. And then there's the criticism. Social media calls him boring. No flashy dunks, no viral moments, no controversial takes. In an era where personality often matters as much as performance, Cade's all-business approach doesn't always translate to followers and endorsements. While other young stars are must-see TV, Cade's been quietly excellent in Detroit. When Cade's on the floor, the Pistons' offensive rating jumps from 112.1 to 121.3. That's a 9.2-point swing just from one player being out there. He's created 727 assist points, again, second only to Jokic, and when you add his own 853 points, that's 1,580 total points generated. One man, 1,580 points. The Pistons are outscoring opponents by 254 points when he's on the court. 254. In a league where games are decided by single possessions, that number is staggering. But let's talk about what they don't show on SportsCenter. The dark side of Cade's journey. His first 3 seasons were plagued by injuries that kept derailing his momentum. The 2022-23 season was supposed to be his breakout year. 12 games in, shin injury, season-ending surgery in November, an entire year of development gone. Even this season, he's dealing with a wrist contusion that caused his first missed game since November. The durability questions are real. When you're the #1 overall pick, when an entire franchise pins its hopes on you, every missed game feels like a missed opportunity. And then there's the criticism. Social media calls him boring. No flashy dunks, no viral moments, no controversial takes. In an era where personality often matters as much as performance, Cade's all-business approach doesn't always translate to followers and endorsements. While other young stars are must-see TV, Cade's been quietly excellent in Detroit. Then came last season. Finally healthy, he exploded. Career highs across the board. First All-Star appearance. Third-team All-NBA. The foundation was set. But nobody saw this coming. Nobody predicted first place. Nobody predicted MVP conversations. Here we are in the 2025-26 season, and everything's different. The Pistons haven't won a championship since 2004. No Detroit player has ever won MVP, not even Isaiah Thomas at his peak. But Cade's on the verge of changing both those narratives. This isn't the flashy three-point shooting team you see everywhere else. The Pistons are 28th in three-point attempts, but second in points in the paint. They're bringing back that bad boy mentality. The third era after the 1980s and 2004. Defense, physicality, and one transcendent talent leading the way. You know what the crazy part is? Cade's doing this in the shadow of some all-time great performances. Jokic, when healthy, is putting up historic numbers. Shai's having a career year. Luka's playing with LeBron and still dominating. Giannis is Giannis, but none of them are carrying a roster like Cade's carrying. Isaiah Thomas had Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer. The 2004 team had Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. Championship teams need multiple stars. But right now, the Pistons have one star and a bunch of believers, and somehow they're in first place. Nike saw it coming. They don't give signature shoes to role players. They saw what Cade could become and made their bet. Detroit saw it when they stuck with him through the injuries, through the losing streaks, through the criticism. Now it's the league's turn to recognize what's happening in the Motor City. The question isn't whether Cade Cunningham is good enough to win MVP. The numbers prove he is. The team's success proves he is. The impact metrics scream it from the rooftops. The question is whether the voters are ready to look past the big markets and establish stars and recognize what's really happening here. 24 years old. First place in the East, third in MVP voting, Nike signature shoe, leading without another star, creating a winning culture from nothing. This is what generational talents do. They change everything around them. When I started by saying nobody's talking about these numbers, I meant it. In any other era, a player doing what Cade's doing would be the story of the season. But he's doing it quietly, professionally, without the drama or flash that usually comes with superstardom. That's not boring. That's beautiful. The Pistons play a brand of basketball that feels like a throwback but works in today's NBA. They're proof that you don't need to launch 43s a game to win. They're proof that defense still matters. They're proof that one special player, with the right mindset and the right system, can elevate everyone around him. So here's my prediction. The MVP conversation is going to get louder. The Pistons are going to stay near the top of the East. And by the time the playoffs roll around, everyone's going to realize what Detroit fans already know. Cade Cunningham isn't just good. He's special. He's different. He's exactly what the NBA didn't know it needed. The real question isn't if he'll win MVP, it's when. Because players like this, players who change franchises, players who lead without help, players who put winning above everything else, they don't stay under the radar forever. The spotlight finds them eventually, and when it does, the rest of the league better be ready. Cade Cunningham shouldn't be this good this soon, but he is. And the scariest part? He's just getting started.